Hi, everyone. I'm Logan with the Chamber. We have another kind of a complement to yesterday's session. We have Instagram marketing with Zach Mason. So just before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to STCU for partnering with us in this program and again, helping transition from physical workshops to in-person workshops. As I said, we have Zach Mason today to go over Instagram marketing. For those of you who are familiar, we had him and Krista present back in the fall, I want to say, and did a fantastic job. And especially right now, when businesses are transitioning from physical sales to online sales, this is a really important topic to cover. And so much of this can be done for very little cost. So if any cost at all. So with that, I just want to say if you have questions, feel free to submit those in Zoom or in the comments box on Facebook, and we will address those when appropriate. And with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Zach.
Perfect. Well, hello to everybody who is attending this little talk on Instagram. Pleasure to have you here. Hope you get some good information out of our chat today. So my knowledge in Instagram and Facebook and the social media marketing is connected to the company I work for, which is Chicago Title and Escrow. We are a Fortune 500 company, and we have a program inside of our company that's optional to take where we can go through training with Instagram experts and Facebook experts and kind of learn all the ropes of those different social media platforms. So I went through a roughly a 6-month course for that, and I'm still connected and getting updates, and that's kind of how I learned the things that I know about social media. So we'll jump right into this presentation. I'm going to share my screen with you, and Logan, as questions come up and when there's pauses in the presentation, he'll kind of let me know because I won't be able to see those. So we're going to jump right in. Okay, so social sales is using social networks to do research, to be relevant, and to build relationships that drive revenue. If you're watching this, chances are that you want more from your Instagram than just, the reasons people would have a personal one, which is maybe finding fun stuff for yourself to look at or sharing photos with friends. If you're watching this particular presentation, my assumption would be that you want to use Instagram in your arsenal of tools for developing and growing your business, your sales, anything related to that kind of topic. So that's kind of what we're going to focus on today. First of all, we're going to go over some Instagram statistics. So if you're wondering if you should be using Instagram for your business, this is going to kind of cover that. So the first thing that you're going to see right up here on the top is the active monthly users. That would be at 1 billion people right now. Daily users for Instagram is over 500 million. Daily stories shared on Instagram is over 500 million. Photos shared on Instagram over the period of time that it has existed are 50 billion plus. Currently, in the year 2020, we have 25 million businesses on Instagram. Likes per day are at 4.2 billion, and daily photo uploads are over 100 million. So there's just kind of some fun stats for you on that. We're going to go into a little bit more demographic related stats next. So currently, 56.3% of Instagram users are female and 43.7% of Instagram users are male. That's actually a pretty close number to where Facebook is at as well. 37% of adults in the United States are Instagram users. In terms of one country, globally, the United States has the most number of Instagram users. Globally, 89% of Instagram users are outside of the US. But as far as one consolidated country goes, we do have the largest percentage of Instagram users. 30% of global Instagram audiences are aged between 18 and 24. 35% are aged between 25 and 34. And 63% of Americans use Instagram daily. So you're kind of getting a little view of the demographics there. There is quite a bit of users in that 25 to 34 category and the 18 to 24 category as well. An estimated 75.3% of US businesses will be on Instagram in 2020. That number is growing, and that's where they're projecting it's going to be at. 70% of shopping enthusiasts turn to Instagram for product discovery. 1/3 of the most viewed stories on Instagram are from businesses. 6 in 10 online adults in the US have Instagram accounts, and 73% of US teens say Instagram is the best way for brands to reach them. So if you run a business, this kind of gives you an overview of who is on Instagram and who your target audiences can be, and shows you that it really does have a pretty exponential reach here in the States, and that it is somewhat, it leans a little more on the female side, but it is a little bit close on the demographic split on that front as well. So off of the statistics and onto the practical application things. When you first open your Instagram, one of the most important things for your business Instagram or your personal Instagram, if you're someone who uses your personal Instagram as a brand development tool, is going to be the name and the bio. So I wasn't able to get the pointer active, but you can see the 2 red circles here. On the top, it says Mr. Jerry Potter, and that's circled. That is your Instagram handle. Then next, you'll see this top line. Now, one of the common mistakes we see when people are running their Instagrams is that they have this top circle and this second circle the same. So just kind of be aware of the fact that the top circle, which is your Instagram username, try to make that something that's as close to your business name or your personal name as possible. And then this next one down here, this next circle, most folks put their name in right there. But a little Instagram hack for you is to put a description of your business or of yourself in terms of what you do. So as you see this gentleman here labeled it social media coach and speaker. If you were, maybe in an Instagram for a bar, you could put, drink slingers and libation specialists or something like that. But the idea is that you're kind of using that first name tagline to describe to people exactly what it is you do or you specialize in. And that the reason we do that is because when people are searching for you, if you put both of those red circles, if they were both your name, people would have to know the business name more or less to find you. However, if you kind of expand and you put your business name as the user handle, and then in that first name slot, you put the description of what you do, it just gives people more means to search you and more like when they're in the Explore tab, they have better chances of finding your business. Then you'll see down underneath of here, there's kind of a breakdown. Hopefully I'm okay here. It just gave me an unstable signal for internet. Okay, so underneath of those circles, you'll see a little breakdown, and you'll kind of see that he did a lot of stuff in here. He used emojis, hashtag, that kind of stuff. And I encourage you to be creative with the description as well. Just bearing in mind that you really want to give people something that draws their eyes in, that relates to your brand name, that uses keywords, that uses emojis, and all these will help in the searchability of your business. So taking advantage of that is definitely something that you want to be doing. Okay, we'll skip on to this next slide now. Okay, so how to make a great bio. We're going to go over a couple of these. So first and foremost, we'll kind of point again. You'll see that this is Chelsea Pites, and you'll see that under her name section, she put camera first social media. So a little description of how she kind of focuses her business and what she's kind of looking to draw people in on. And then you'll see these little bullet points that kind of give a separation and explanation of what she specializes in. And that just nice, clean look. The words aren't all running together. There's spaces, there's some symbols, there's a nice flow to that. And then you'll see also this little bullet over on the left side that says UVP. So I'm going to explain what that is to you. A UVP stands for a unique value proposition. This might take a little bit to develop, but grab a pen and paper when you have some free time and try to come up with a UVP for yourself or your business. And what that looks like is this second line. I really wish I had a pointer on this here. The second line where it says, I help you turn social activities into business outcomes. That's Chelsea's UVP. So it's kind of like an elevator pitch. You have 1 to 2 sentences to explain exactly what it is that your business or you do. It doesn't have, don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be, something that covers every single aspect. It just has to hit the most kind of eye-catching and easy to understand description of what you do. Next, you'll see there's a call to action. So we're going to put that link on there. There's an option to put a link inside your bio. And the link in that bio, you can do a couple things with, but you got to give people a reason to click on it. So if there's something that you can offer in that, whether it's, check out, check out our menu. If you're a restaurant, if you're a real estate agent, you could put in there, check out my current listings and drop a link in there, or, here, download your free home buyer guide and put the link in there, so on and so forth. But you want to make sure you put a call to action at the base of that to get people to click that link and involve themselves more with your page. Make sure that everything is to the point, easy to read, or you can showcase your personality in this. Now, again, on that link, we're going to get into that a little bit more in the upcoming slides, but you kind of are getting some examples between the last slide and this slide that show you good examples of what your bio should look like, and taking advantage of that top name line to make yourself easier to find in searches. Okay, so on to the next facet about those links. I'm a big fan of Linktree. Now, Linktree is a service that allows you to give multiple links on a landing page that stays inside of Instagram. So on Chelsea's, there was a Linktree, and you'll see when you click the Linktree, this is what happens. It pulls up a little screen, and you can see for her, she chose the colors that are on this screen. You can choose your colors in your background for this landing page. And then she gave you the different links that she would like people to follow out to. So in this case, she has the agent marketer link, talking in pictures book link. So there's a link to her book, a link to her services, a link to her YouTube channel, her LinkedIn, and her Facebook. So those Linktree links give you great options for running promotions, for showcasing different services that you offer. So you could have one link that maybe goes for a special promotion that's just for that day, while the other link leads to your normal services. Or, one link that if you were a photographer shows off your wedding photography, another link that shows an album to your, family portraits, that sort of thing. So Linktree, if you have multiple places you'd like people to get to quickly, is a great service to use. And if you choose to use the full option that it has, it's pretty affordable. I believe it's around $6 a month. So a great way to really expand the options people have inside of their links. Okay, I'm going to show you an Instagram makeover. This is this Kaylani Evolve account that's on our first one. That's actually my wife's Instagram. And just recently, we did a little Instagram makeover on it. And I'm going to kind of explain what that is as we go through these, okay? So Instagram influencers are definitely someone that you want to follow, and if they're in your same brand sphere, and checking those out. So what you can do is you can hit the magnifying glass on the bottom, which is your search options, and you can look for people that are in your same field. My wife is a mental health therapist, so we typed in therapist and we looked for the top followed therapist, and these are some of them right here. And the reason we did that is to see examples of what they did to get to where they are. So we went back to the beginning of their pages when their Instagrams first started and kind of just scrolled up through to see how they developed and how they began followers, and also to get a feel of what people are looking for and what they like when interacting with things that are inside of our general sphere or brand. So this first example of the Kaylani Evolve page shows my wife's Instagram a month or two ago. And It kind of had, it's a great look to it still. But then we started looking at what the top therapists were doing and getting follows for. And we really started noticing a lot of color coordination, a lot of uniformity, a lot of posts that were primarily words and less pictures. And so we started switching her posts and her branding over to that. So as you can see in this first page, we have several different colors going on. There's some blues, it's a little more picture heavy, there's the greens, different shades of blue, but not really like a little bit of uniformity, but not too much. And then after going through several of the top therapist pages, we created this one on the very, very last Instagram example, which has more greens and has a really uniform look to it. And pretty much right away, we saw a little spike in her followers. So it wasn't anything massive, but for a week period, it was a pretty decent. I would say, gathering over 100 people in a week is a pretty nice jump. And so that is something that you can do with your brands as well. And of course, always remember that you don't have to copy to be successful. Great content is always going to be king on social media. So if your content is absolutely killer, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's uniform looking or not. But the uniform look can definitely help, because as you can kind of see between example 1 and example 4 on this page, example 4 is a little more easy on the eyes and draws our eyes in a little more and is definitely a little easier to track with. So, it doesn't hurt to kind of have an understanding of what your brand colors are. Another option on that I would encourage you is in Instagram, when you hold your filters. So when you open your pictures, it spreads out the filters on the bottom that you can use while you're taking a photo. If you put your thumb on that and hold, you can actually slide the order of those filters around. So I would recommend, if you are running a business or a brand type page where you're trying to develop a brand, selecting between 1 and 3 filters that you want to use consistently, slide those to the front so you don't have to scroll through to find them. They're right there in the first 3 options. And then kind of stick to those as much as you can. And then trying to kind of keep a little bit of a flow here, right? So another thing that we can identify from looking at these is there's a bit of a pattern going on, right? So we see there's a photo, then there's a quote, a photo, a quote, a photo, a quote, and then there's a nice photo with a quote, and then a quote, and then a photo again. So having a little bit of a flow can also be really helpful, and that can look however you want it to. It could be, it could be based on educational content. So like Tuesdays, you're educating someone about, topic A, Wednesdays, topic B, Thursdays, topic C, or it could be based on, I'm going to do a photo of myself or one of our staff members on Monday. And on Tuesday, I'm going to do a community facing post. And on Wednesday, I'm going to do a product based post. And then I'm going to kind of repeat that process. But that will give you some nice flow when people come onto your page. Instead of, one thing you don't want to happen too much on Instagram, unless your brand is modeling or something, would be, 4 selfies in a row or 4 pictures of your product in a row. Of course, it does depend on the quality of the content. If you have really, really incredible content and people respond really well to your product and that's all you do, that's fine. But for people who maybe are a little more trying to come up with that content, this is a great way to kind of do it, is to kind of create a little calendar for yourself to follow. Okay, any questions on that so far, or are we good to move to the next slide, Logan?
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. We did have a question on Facebook that came through. And they are wondering if hashtags are effective in the bio of your profile.
Yeah, they help.
All right, and Bruce, that was for you. So yes, they are effective.
They do help with the searchability of your profile.
And that was, I believe, all we had.
Okay, cool. I'm going to move on to the next slide then, and we'll keep this show on the road. Okay, so how to grow in Instagram followers. My first and foremost tip for you is to follow Gary Vee's 180 strategy. Now, this is going to take some discipline and dedication, but if you do it, you will see a big spike in your Instagram followers. Now, this 180 strategy, what it is leaving your personal 2 cents on the top 9 trending Instagram posts for 10 different hashtags that are relevant to your brand or business every single day. Now, let me kind of break that down for you a little bit. When you open your Instagram app and you go down to the magnifying glass that is there, you can click on that and you can type in a hashtag. So for the sake of argument, since I'm in the real estate industry, we're gonna use the hashtag real estate. Now I can look at the different hashtags that are trending there. I can click on those and then it's gonna open up this new window that shows me the top posts for that category. And then there's another button that says recent. So I can flip between the top post and the most recent top posts. And then the idea here is if I click on that real estate hashtag, go to that page, I can go to that top post and I can leave my 2 cents on it. So when I clicked real estate, what I got was this person named Danielle Sells New York City. The rumors are true is her post. The innovations in the real estate industry during time will shift sellers, buyers, landlords. She does this post. So I could throw on there, I totally agree with you. I think that is a valid point, and then move on to the next thing. On the top trending Instagram posts for 10 different hashtags that are relevant to your brand. So another thing that you can do that'll help is you can go to that magnifying glass again, and then on the top of the screen underneath the search bar, you see there's a bunch of different options for you to click, like there's IGTV, there's shop, there's decor, there's travel, all that. Ignore that, go up to the search bar, click on it, and then you'll see there's a top category, an accounts category, a tags category, and a places category. So what I recommend is go over to the places, select near location. It'll give you a couple of cities and businesses that are near you. So if I click Richland, Washington, it's going to show me the top trending posts in Richland, Washington. So I can click on some of those posts and just maybe leave a nice comment or leave a thought or something of that nature on those. And then you'll find that often those people follow you back. So the 180 strategy is a good way to number one, reach out and develop influential followers, people who post great content that are now following you, so other people are finding you through them. The other thing that's great about it is Instagram and Facebook both actually are engagement driven. So their algorithm wants you to be participating, not just watching. If you're just watching or just hitting like, it's kind of like the equivalent of driving by a business and waving at the people inside. You're not really engaging, or driving by the person's house and waving from the outside. And granted, in the COVID world we're in right now, that's kind of what we're supposed to do. But it's not really as effective as if you stop, get out of your car and say hi. And so when you do that, you're kind of playing to what the algorithm wants and creating engagement and helping content boost, and you're going to be rewarded for that as well. If you follow someone, you can always leave a voice message for them inside their inbox. Now, you have to be careful. You don't want to come across as creepy when you're doing that. But if you're following a business that you'd like to follow you back, you can leave a voice message inside their Instagram DMs saying, hey, loved the content on your page. Really specifically think, your color schemes are awesome, or your photos are really on point, or whatever. Another great way to develop followers is to give shout outs to other accounts or to do collaborations. That way you're kind of getting access to their followers. So say that I'm a business who gets my, my building cleaned by Durashine. I can, Monday morning when I come in and my building's super clean over the weekend from Durashine coming in and cleaning, I could tag Durashine in a post and say, take a photo of the building and say, building is sparkling clean Monday morning. Always love coming in after, at Durashine. cleaning comes in, and then put hashtag Durashine on the bottom. And the great thing is well, I'm giving that shout out, I'm also getting access to whoever follows that business. Using contests and giveaways is huge for Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, you need to do something that's inside the guidelines. The guidelines are pretty easy to follow, but if you're, you can give away a gift card to your business, maybe something that is, related to a business you're giving a shout out to. And then always when you're doing those contests, the point is always to get a spike in engagement and your followers. So you're going to want to give rules for those contests that benefit your business. Like, for example, maybe the Bradley in Richland is giving away a $50 gift card, right? So if we're going to do that, what we're going to want to do is say, leave a comment, tag a friend, and follow us on Instagram. And that's what gets them entered into the competition. Let me go back here, sorry. Okay, and then lastly, for developing followers, post on social groups and an email that you are an IG and you want support, and ask them to follow you and have them drop their IG name in the comments. So if you have a larger Facebook following than you do on Instagram, or you have a good LinkedIn following, you can always post on those accounts with your IG handle and request that people follow you, or that they leave their IG name in your comments, or their IG name in your comments, and you can go follow them, which has a pretty reciprocal effect generally. Okay, hashtags, understanding hashtags. 15 to 20 hashtags is going to be your goal on every post. You want to do 30 at max. That's kind of the maximum Instagram wants you to do. And we'll kind of get into a little more breakdown on how you figure out those hashtags in a minute. But you can follow other hashtags. So you can follow a hashtag that pertains to your brand. As we mentioned before, if you were in real estate, great hashtags to follow would be real estate, interior design, kind of larger hashtags that are related to your industry. And that gives you the ability to see, what is trending inside of your industry and things that might affect your brand. Layering hashtags, we're going to do a whole thing on that in a second, but you want to start with moderately popular, then go to somewhat popular, and then do more niched out hashtags for immediacy and longevity. So you can create a spreadsheet and go research what hashtags do well, or what hashtags maybe relate to your brand and do well. Go through those, and then what you're going to want to look for is the amount of people that are following those. In the next slide, we'll have an example, but that's actually really important. Once you identify those hashtags, which again, in the next slide, you'll have an opportunity to see a visualization of how you come up with those. But once you identify those, go ahead and create maybe a note in your phone or a separate folder in your computer. And you're going to want to create probably 3 to 4 different, what we're going to call blocks of hashtags. Okay. So 15 to 20 hashtags, that would be maybe 10 at the absolute least. And these hashtags are going to follow that popular, somewhat popular, or more niche strategy that we're going to get to in a second. And go ahead and create 3 different categories and try to have no hashtag crossover on them. What I mean by that is in category 1, so for myself being at Chicago Title, I want to hashtag my business in each post I do. So my first post, I could do hashtag Chicago Title and Escrow. My second block, I could do hashtag Chicago Title. My third block, I could do hashtag Chicago Title Team. But I don't want to do hashtag Chicago Title in each one. You can also use some of these in your IGTV posts. So we're going to skip to the next slide so we can get to explaining those hashtag breakdowns. All right, so here's the example. When on the left side, you'll see if I type in the hashtag love, you see these giant numbers up here, 51 million posts. We crossed out the other one so you can't even see it. But this is too much. So remember that what we mentioned earlier, that there's 500 million posts going up on Instagram every single day or more. So if you do something that has a following in the tens of millions, and you're not an influencer already, you're probably going to get lost in the noise. So the goal is to build your hashtag blocks kind of based off of this right side model here. And you could do, 3-4 million if you want. That's potentially okay. But this kind of example on the side is really giving you the best results possible, kind of sticking to a smaller category that's going to get you seen more, but not going too small. So, your most popular ones you want to do in that 1, maybe to 2 or 3 million range if possible. In the next one, you want to do 3 to 5 hashtags in the, 100,000 up to 1 million. In the next 3 to 5 posts, you want to do maybe 10,000 to 100,000. And in that last block, you want to do 1 to 2 hashtags in the 1,000 to 10,000 range. You're welcome to then throw in maybe an extra hashtag or 2 that are really specific, right? So I could do one, like I said earlier, I could do hashtag Chicago title team, and maybe that only has, 400 hashtags that are connected to it, or hashtag Richland Washington, maybe that has only a couple hundred for that day. Or you could even do a super niched out one. But if you do a super niched out one, it needs to be brand related. So for example, I'll reference the Bradley and Richland again. That has a hashtag that is hashtag @the_Bradley. Now that is not a hashtag we found anywhere else. So when we first started using that hashtag, there was nobody using it. But you have to be aware also that when you use that hashtag, people are not going to find you off of that hashtag unless they know to look for you off of it. So that's more of like an inside your own business marketing tool, where we could say, we'll give you 10% off if while you're here, you use hashtag @the_Bradley and post a photo of your drink. And then over time, that builds and gives people an opportunity to kind of create a photo album for us. Okay, moving on. So earlier I mentioned you don't want to use the same hashtag in all your posts. You want to break up those blocks, right? So we have a block A, B, C, and D, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in those, we make sure that we don't have overlapping hashtags. One of the things that can happen to you is if you use the same hashtag, say that I use hashtag Chicago title, hashtag best title team, hashtag Richland, Washington, and I use that on every single post. Or on several posts in a row, there is a possibility that I will be shadow banned on Instagram. So what a shadow ban is it renders your hashtags undiscoverable by vibrant users. Only people who already follow you will be able to see your feed, and not the entire Instagram community. So if you're wondering if you have been shadow banned, it's fairly easy to know. Search your post under the hashtags used and see if they appear. If they don't appear in the discovery section of Instagram, you've been shadow banned. There are easy ways to get out of that we'll cover in just a minute. But that's the importance of keeping those hashtags separate. Instagram wants to see you behaving like a human. They're trying their best to keep bots off of the platform. It's a computer algorithm, and that computer algorithm doesn't always nail its job correctly, and it might think that you're behaving more like a bot would and therefore shadow ban you. So the importance is to seem like a person more or less, and one of the ways that you can do that on Instagram is using those separate sets of hashtags. Now, if you have been shadow banned, you can look for any post, comments, or media that could have raised a red flag, and you can remove that or fix it. If you're using a third-party program to get likes or to run things for you that have like a lot of bot kind of stuff going on, you can delink that. I definitely wouldn't recommend using programs to buy likes on Instagram. Quit using repetitive hashtags, banned hashtags, or using more than 30 hashtags. You can remove hashtags from posts that were shadow banned, or you can just take a break from Instagram for 2 or 3 days. And during this hiatus, do not post, like, or comment on anything. And that'll give your Instagram a little chance to reset. Okay, moving on. Scheduling posts. So if you have designated your Instagram as a business Instagram or a creator Instagram, you can have access to this first scheduling platform. You do need to have a business Facebook connected to it, or like a public figure Facebook connected to it. But if you do, this is a free service. It's business.facebook.com/creator studio. And this is a service that allows you to go in that page, you can control both your business Facebook and your business or creator Instagram account. Now, you can turn your current Instagram into one of those in your settings, just so you know. So if you have a personal page that has a lot of followers, but you're really using it for your business, you can go in and you can change over your account into being, that different kind of account. You should be able to do that in your settings. So once you do that, you can go into this link, this facebook.com/creator studio, and you can schedule all of your posts for your business Facebook and your business Instagram at the same time. And it will go ahead and post those for you. This is the only free service that will actually allow you to schedule posts on Instagram and then in turn post them for you. So for example, I can come in on a Monday morning and I can schedule out all my posts for the next week, 2 weeks, whatever I want, and walk away, and it will just post for me. So there's nothing more that I really have to do once I've done that. So I really am a big fan of using this. This is especially helpful in the fact that Instagram is something you do want to try and be more present on and have a pretty regular flow of posts going off of. So it can be really easy to find yourself kind of suffering from paralysis by analysis, as it were, and trying to come up with content and just feeling like you don't have it. So what I recommend doing is on days when there is good content around, or on days when maybe the weather is great and your business is building, looks great, and photos outside the windows look great, or whatever, kind of bulking up on photos that day, and then spreading them out over the course of the week, or having your person who does your marketing come in and take photos of your new menu, if you're a restaurant, and then, you can schedule those out. So twice a week, one of those photos posts, but this can kind of help you because it can get a little overwhelming trying to do it every single day. If you want to go with a paid platform, there's some great ones, later.com, Plan, Sked. These are all paid platforms that'll do scheduling on your Instagram and Facebook for you. I don't know if Plan can actually do scheduled posts yet in terms of actually posting on Instagram. It'll just send you a reminder if I'm not mistaken. But Plan does have this cool feature, and I have used this feature on Plan before, where it gives you the ability to see a layout of your Instagram. So I can, go ahead and yet where they can actually post on my behalf, but they can just send me a notice saying, it's time to post. Would you like to post your post now or something? And I click yes, and it posts, right? But you can see kind of an overview of what your Instagram screen will look like to the users when they look at it. So make sure it has a good flow. And that's kind of a nice little feature. Other apps I would recommend using when you're doing your scheduling, a free one is When to Post. There is also a paid version of When to Post that you can use, but that kind of shows you when the highest amount of your users are on. Internationally, worldwide, Instagram's best days are Tuesdays and Thursdays. But it does vary a little bit based on geographic location as well. Later, some of these paid apps, by the way, Later and Plan and stuff, they also have your posting times built into them. But if you were just, for example, using this free Facebook Creator Studio one, I would highly recommend getting When to Post, downloading that, and then it shows you the week in advance and kind of shows you the high times of when your audiences are on. Preview.app is great. It's kind of gives you some nice previews of your pages and some other cool benefits. And then All Hashtag is a great hashtag research platform. So that's another really good one that I recommend. Okay. So stories. 1 out of 5 Instagram stories results in a direct message. So stories are huge right now. They are highly, highly effective, and I very much recommend using them. And the other great thing about stories is when you're doing a photograph to Instagram, like a picture, you just need to make sure you're doing like something that's really inside of your brand. You want to make sure you're doing something that's really high quality, that looks great, that's interesting. So there's a little more thought that has to go into those posts. For example, something not a lot of people know is that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the average Instagram influencer can spend up to 5 hours. Sometimes I think it's between 5 and 10 even, maybe, getting that photo right. So that's a long time to spend, putting together that perfect picture. And most of us don't have the time to do that. So that's a lot of thought going into creating those really visually stunning images that we see on influencers' pages. I'm sure it looks like it's just, oh, so natural, and they were just hanging out on their boat, and the photo just snapped of them enjoying life, but that really is not how it is. It is a much more calculated, planned, business, strategic kind of thing that takes a lot of time and effort and professional equipment and all that. So since most of us don't have the ability to do that with our photographs, we do want to pay a lot of attention to them, but we can't quite hit that level. Stories are brilliant because you don't really have to put that level of thought into stories. You can get away with a lot more. You can take a picture of your morning coffee and post it on your stories and, tag roasters in it and say, love my roasters morning coffee. And while that might not crush it on Instagram as a photograph uploaded to your page, it will probably do pretty well for you in a story. And you can really post a lot of more of the mundane things that maybe happen in your work life inside your stories as well. And you'll see a lot higher spike in involvement and engagement. So I do really recommend using stories in a much more liberal fashion than your pictures on Instagram. Okay, stories also allow you to use engagement stickers. Don't get too carried away with using all these little bells and whistles, but definitely use them because they totally encourage involvement and interaction, and that helps in the algorithm kind of favoring your account, letting more people see your content, all that good stuff. So you have the location option, you have the hashtag option, the mention option, the date. You can do a poll, you can do like different kind of variations that are really aimed at pulling people in to engage. So this one, did you see the game? Yes or no. You could put, you could change that yes or no to tacos or burgers or, anything you wanted, and try to get people to just click on something on your story and engage with it, because that helps your account and your interactions on Instagram overall. Question stickers. If you're a business that has a decent following or an interesting product, this is a great option for you to use. So, there's some examples on this. Waiting for the bus, ask me questions. And you can see people might respond different ways in there. If you're a business, you could put, would you prefer a margarita special or a, I don't know, a flavored lemonade special? Or if you were, a business, you could put, ask me questions about cleaning your window tips if you were a cleaning business, and that kind of eggs some more interaction on as well. Use hashtags in your story. Hashtags work everywhere on Instagram. I'm sure Krista mentioned this in Facebook yesterday, but I would stay away from hashtags on Facebook unless it's, for a very specific purpose, like it's something funny. That can contribute to the viewership of your post, but people don't use hashtags to search on Facebook, and Instagram is 100% built around that. So use hashtags anywhere you want on Instagram. It always helps. Next, use location stickers in your stories. This is great, and obviously right now that might be a little more difficult to do, but you can go back into your photos, maybe from a trip you did before, and you can access this feature. So, if you were in a really cool place, you were in Disneyland a few weeks ago, or no, not a few weeks ago, rather a few months ago. You could upload a photo from that and, say missing being in Disneyland, and make sure to tag yourself there. Now, the value in this is maybe somebody is looking up Disneyland. When they do, your story or your photo is more apt to come up inside of their search options. So it just gives you a little more reach. If you're in a local place, that's another great thing to do is, if I was at a specific restaurant or a specific business in town, I would tag myself in my story or my post, tag myself at that location, really mention it there, and make sure that it's visible to be mentioned. This is the great thing about stories, is the tag shows up in the photograph itself. And then the great thing also is a lot of times you'll find when you do that, the business will reshare your story on their story, which is great because their viewership will be, some of them will be likely to click on your page and then maybe become followers of yours or engage with your content. So that's another great way to kind of expand your reach on Instagram. Instagram story highlights. If you're a business or a business as a person, these are great features for you to kind of give a little photo album of what you do. And so you'll kind of see some examples of that. First, we have a real estate agent right over here. So you'll see, right in this highlight thing, she has her IGTV first. Then she, go back there. She has her speaking gigs. And then she has, next we have the wild showings. That's what that's going to be. So showings that she had that were crazy. And then you see kind of going on. She has her listings that she's done listed on that. Under this public speaker, we have family, speaking, wine, and then something else. Under this local business, pink presents, her business must be Pinky something. Yeah. So Pinky presents, Pinky props, different things. So depending on what your business is, you can use those highlight features to kind of give quick links for people to get in there and see photos of what you do. So again, a great example would be if I was a photographer, I could do one highlight link of family photographs, one of wedding, one of senior photos. If I'm a restaurant, I can do one of cocktails, one of our staff, one of our specials, and one of events that we've done. So on and so forth. If I was a real estate agent, I could do, satisfied buyers, reviews, listings, real estate life, market stats. There's different things that I could put down there in those highlight clips, and those give people an opportunity to kind of just fast track over to that information. Okay, how to make highlights. Go to your profile, tap the plus sign inside the circle, select the story you want to add, and then go ahead and add it. And then you can add those to your highlight reels. So this is kind of just a little overview of how you make highlights. There's a limit of 100 stories per highlight category, but no limits on how many highlights categories you can have. And this also saves your stories forever. So it archives them, and it's a great way to kind of have access to them always. And when you, by the way, when you hit that circle and you add photos, it will only add photos of your story. So if you did a post but not a story, you can't add that post into your highlight reel. It needs to be a story. So if there are things that are in your post right now that you want to be in a story category, you'll have to go back, repost that picture into your stories in order to add it to the highlight reel. Okay, so just a little picture here of kind of how that looks a little more. All right, so how to view your Instagram story insights. At the top of your page, you're gonna see this little blue arrow points towards this little graph looking thing. If you click on that, it's gonna show you your insights from your story. So if you look on the right-hand side, that's kind of a breakdown of what's happening here. So let's look back on the left into the photographs. You'll see this first top left photograph is like a coffee cup with sunglasses and a book. And if we look over on the right where they clicked to their insights, we'll see that they can see 1,467 people looked at it, and it will actually break down the content a lot more. So you'll see there's activity, content, audience. It'll show me, you know, was it mostly male or female looking? It will show some age breakdowns and some other kind of helpful information. So I would recommend, if you are using these for business purposes, that's something to keep a good eye on to see who your audience that's really engaging with you is. And of course, you can do this with your business Instagrams as well. Go into those kind of metrics on your Instagram for your regular posts and your followings and see that also, which I definitely would encourage everyone to do, because the point of this is to gain following, to gain you know, awareness of your business, and to get your services out there. And the way we do that is by keeping track of who is paying attention. So how you get to your insights for your regular Instagram is to go up into the right corner, and there's the 3 lines. You click on that, and then you click on insights. But this is for your stories, how you get to your story insights. And you need to be on, so you want to be on that as much as possible and keeping track of that. Okay, so kind of more of a breakdown here. It shows you impressions in the past 14 days on your stories, how many people replied, who was viewed, how many people have viewed, all that good stuff. So what can you measure? Reach is the number of people who have watched your story. Impressions is the number of times your story has been viewed. So if you posted a story and reached 1 person who viewed your story 3 times, Insights would show 1 reach and 3 impressions. Kind of a little breakdown for you of that. All right, so that is all I have in terms of slides for you today. And I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of the screen sharing mode. And go ahead and let me know, is there any other questions on the comments here, Logan?
Let me see. We do have 2 came in through Facebook.
Okay.
The first one is from Brent, and it goes back to the part where you go over hashtags.
Yeah, go for it.
The hashtags, the strategies that you discussed, do they apply to local businesses as well?
I mean, absolutely, because even when people who are local are searching, chances are they're using, you know, the same kind of hashtags that everyone across the country is using to find those services. And Instagram is location sensitive to some degree. So it is likely that, you know, as long as your content is good and your hashtags are right, that you'll show up in their search sphere, because we're all in the same geographic location. They'll especially be more likely to find you if they are, you know, tagging themselves somewhere. But that's also why we encourage you to stay away from those tens of millions ones, because those ones are going to slant really heavily towards, you know, like the Los Angeles area, New York, Seattle, those kinds of areas. So we want you to stay in a popular realm, but not too popular.
Perfect. The next question is also on Facebook. It comes from Brian. He's asking, will third parties hurt your post organically?
I mean, I am personally not really aware of third-party apps that don't hurt you outside of the ones we mentioned earlier, which is like using a scheduling app. That doesn't really hurt you. That's fine. You can do great organic content through scheduling apps. But outside of that, I mean, I'm sure there's a few out there, but I generally would recommend steering clear of third-party apps on Instagram. They really want user-generated content. So they want it to be authentic.
Perfect. All right. And I think that was all. And we didn't have any come in on Zoom. So I think we're all set. And as always, thank you, Zach. That was a great presentation. Both you and Krista do a fantastic job. So thank you for setting some time aside to do this today. And I believe that's everything. For people who want to go back and look at the presentation, we're going to go ahead and save a copy of this, and it'll be posted on the Chamber Facebook page as well as the Chamber YouTube channel. So feel free to go back and review as needed. And again, thank you, Zach.
Hey, thanks everybody. Take care.
Have a good day, everyone.